Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Covering Kirby. I am CB Smallwood, your host and star of the show. and what we do here, what we attempt to do here, is take stuff that Jack the King Kirby had drawn and basically try to replicate it to see if it's even possible to do it better or anything like that. And for the sole purpose of learning and just having fun and just just keep moving forward with things when in terms of art and stuff. First of all, for those of you that are kind of curious about the name, why Covering Kirby? Well, first of all, I'm a little bit of a lackluster musician, and as such, there's a term that people who are in bands use when they play other people's music, and it's called covers. They do covers. For example, when Metallica first got started out, they did Diamond Head covers. And that was a good way for them to learn song structure and just how to, put things together. It's just everything's already there. They just have to work on perfecting it and trying to match the quality of the original person who wrote the song, right? And then hopefully it should be the goal of anyone to try to actually do a little bit better than the original song. So that's what Covering Kirby is all about. It's basically trying to get as good, or in some cases maybe even try to do better than what he did. We'll see how that turns out. It's not a slight. I don't think it's a slight to say that you're trying to be better than your heroes. You should always strive to improve and be the best that you can be. And I think this is also a really good way to reverse engineer some of what Jack Kirby did and try to figure out why he made the choices that he did, and to really think about it. And I think it's a really cool thing to do, to go back to the 60s and look at that, even the smallest stuff, and kind of analyze, why did he draw that, So I think that's pretty fun and interesting. So as you can see here, I've already started butchering the header thing. I've got the original reference material, which is Fantastic Four, Issue 1, Volume 1, The Real Deal, The Real McCoy, Page 1. And you can see the layouts. I pretty much stayed faithful and true to the layouts. I did do one exception different down here compared to the original, and if I get a chance in this video, I'll talk about it. But first, right now, I'm inking the header. In future videos, you'll actually see me draw stuff out, or I'll probably have stuff kind of used with a blue pencil already and then pencil that later, but whatever. You'll see me inking things. You can already see I did kind of a rough inking job here and there where I made some mistakes. It is what it is. This is about having fun, and it's about learning. That's the whole purpose of doing covers: learning, having fun, and maybe building an audience. We'll see how people like this. I tell you right now, let me zoom in here. Boop, 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 boop. Let me move this out of the way. I think I want to add a little bit of a, if you can see this, a little bit of a drop shadow underneath the, what do you call that, the collar on his jacket or something? I don't know. Let's just do this. Define it a little bit better. Okay. And maybe I'll do the same thing for Ben Grimm here. Just a little bit, not much. But anyway, I tell you something interesting that I noticed as I was doing this. If we can look at the original, I think it's interesting that when he drawn Ben Grimm, that he left off the necktie, which was like a very subtle way of suggesting that maybe he was like a working class stiff, I might be overlooking things. Oh gosh, I messed up inking Sue Storm's face because the details were really fine, and probably using the wrong ink pen, and it's kind of hard to really think about these things as you're recording and you got equipment everywhere, you just got stuff in the way, But again, just having fun, and she kind of looks like she's anorexic here. That's my fault. Anyway, let's see, and we've got Johnny Storm there, and I love the fact that he drew Johnny with a smile, and he does look like a bit of a goofball, and he gave him this sweater, and he's got a tie underneath it, you know, and I guess that sweater look was kind of like what the kids wore back in the 60s. The 60s. There we go. Back in the 60s. And so I guess if you read this comic originally back in the 60s, you would have knew right away from the first page that Johnny Storm was kind of a young character. And that Reed Richards kind of looks like a Leave It to Beaver type of dad, you know. And I noticed he doesn't have the kind of indication that his hair is whited on the sides. I guess that came later. And I kind of goofed up on the inks on this too. I tell you something else that's interesting is that as I was drawing this, the heads progressively got bigger. And that's the cool thing about doing this type of stuff is you kind of see the shortcomings in your art, and you can make a mental note to fix it later on, which I didn't in the pencil stages. I decided to leave it, and I'll just fix it on the next page or whatever, you know, if it comes up. Does that make sense? If this comes up later, if this type of scenario comes up later, I will try to be mindful to not make the same mistake, because I made the heads progressively bigger, and that's a little weird. And whereas Jack Kirby was maybe the exception of one person, but it was intentional. Ben Grimm being a large man. Something else that I did is practicing lettering. So sometimes I'll practice lettering. I messed up on the Y, but it has character, but whatever. I messed up on it, dragged it down a little too far. And compared to this original, where it says here they are, and it's got that that red triangle thing, I added a kind of a drop shadow on this one. You saw where I messed up here on the ink. Again, you know, making excuses, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know if you can see the tripod. So I got this in front of me what time I'm trying to ink. And I got, you know, this thing right here kind of blocking my elbows a little bit. I'm kind of bunched in, and it's hard for me to draw like this. And my paper, my sketch pad is like about half a foot away from me, you know, which is not how I normally have it. Making excuses here. Are you buying any of this? So let's actually draw. You've not seen me draw anything in this whole video yet. I'm gonna mess up the inks, but I'm gonna go for it. Do 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 do. Oh man, gooping it up a little bit. What did I do here when I inked this? What kind of inking job is that? Maybe I can use this white gel pen I got laying around, because I don't have my white out handy. Kind of reel that in just a little bit. Do 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 do. When I penciled out Johnny's face here, one thing that I tried to do, as I guess Jack the King Kirby did, was not to put too many details on his face, because I guess when you're drawing comics, regardless of the medium, the more details that you add to a face, the more it tends to age it. Okay, what the heck am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Just there we go. His collar's stretched. Look at my reference material here, because I've kind of went rogue on the inks. Okay. drop shadow thing. Yeah, I don't know. Just to experiment because I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this. See if that makes it any look like a sweater. Hope it doesn't make him look beat up. I don't want that effect. But you know, originally I was talking about like how extra lines on the face makes a character look older, and you see that with Ben Grimm, and then you see that here. Now, people in their 20s have all these lines. Realistically, you know, guys and girls and stuff like that. But when you're drawing a comic book, if you draw people in their 20s with these lines, this is how it's going to look. Because there's a lot of subtlety when it comes to light and colors, and that doesn't always translate well in the comics. That's just my opinion. Something else that I did different from Kirby is, if I can pull this up, is when Kirby drew these heads, they pretty much, for the most part, or entirely stayed within the circles. And I kind of like the idea of the top of the heads kind of breaking the circles just a little bit. But originally I tried to stick with that idea that Jack Kirby had. So this is something I'm going to have to work on. I have a sizing issue, and but this was fun to do, and I learned some things from it. Alright, now let's talk about the Fantastic Four smoke gun, which you don't really see this anymore, I don't think. I could be wrong. But it's kind of neat if you think about it. Can you imagine Jack Kirby getting a script or a plot from Stan Lee? And maybe this is his idea. I don't know whose idea it was, you know, like, all right, Jack, what we're going to do is we're going to start out big. You know, we'll have a big thing of smoke in the sky, and it's going to say the Fantastic Four. And then there's going to be people pointing up at the sky because you don't see that every day. And it's going to be huge. And it'll be like a little trail maybe coming from the building that it's coming from. That's my best Stan Lee impression. Yeah. I mean, it's not something you see every day in comics back during that time. I'm going to use my thick pen here. You going to watch me butcher this? Well, you're seeing it in real time. I swear, people, what the heck? I don't want to use this one. I don't want to use this. I want to use my handy dandy mess maker here. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay, well, maybe if I just go out just a little bit more. I actually enjoy lettering. I really, really love traditional methods, and I think that they're worth preserving and worth pursuing. And I feel like I have a lot of control doing things in a traditional way. And I'm going to add a drop shadow here type of thing, just to make the words, you know, kind of pop a little bit. Did I butcher that? Am I butchering it? Is that what's happening here? Yeah. I don't know. I'll come back to that. That's a really cartoony looking V. I think the thing that hurts it is my E. Look at that E. Look at that. It's a tiny E. When you look at the original, it's like, yeah, that's pretty straightforward. All right, here we go. I don't have to worry about keeping a nice shape because the original thing here is basically, this is made out of smoke, so I have a little bit of freedom to be messy. Pretty cool, huh? I like the idea of this smoke gun. I think it's, you know, See that often in comics. And as I was drawing this, I got to thinking, you know, what kind of technology would make this possible? I mean, it's pretty advanced for the 60s. I mean, this might be accomplishable today. Makes me think of you know, fog machines and laser light stuff. So hypothetically, I'm thinking maybe what that smoke gun does, it's like a fog machine smoke gun in your hands, and when it shoots out the smoke, it reaches, you know, you want it to be really, really big, and then it shoots out these lasers that create a light show within the smoke. And maybe that's what we're looking at. Maybe that's what this is. Trying to explain Kirby tech here. Trying to find the logic in this. Is that wrong? Am I overthinking it? Am I butchering these inks? Is that what's happening here? I've already butchered them quite a bit. Oh no, what am I doing? Playing with my old phone doesn't work quite well. By the time I draw on this, that's probably not a good idea. Alright. Got the fantastic on there. Can I get the 4? Get out of my way, stuff. Here, get away. Really wanting to get into lettering more. Like I said before, I do enjoy it, and I feel like I can be pretty good at it. I talked myself out of it, you know, because I keep thinking I'm going to use it on my Wildcat comic or some other project, but then I'm not thinking, well, you know, I'm putting all this effort into drawing something, making it look really good, and do I really want to butcher it by, you know, putting letters on it and stuff? And of course, you know, I can, you know, make a 11 by 17 cardstock photocopy and ink on that, or maybe like I need something bigger here. And I say bigger, I mean big as it gets. You like this ASMR? Is that what it's called? I like that. Now the original here, lettering didn't have any drop shadow type of thing in the Fantastic Four, but what I'm trying to do is I just think it makes it pop just a little bit more. We're getting close to the end of this video because I don't want to bore you all. I guess what I could do is I'll finish this. I'll finish inking this, and I'll show you the end result. Maybe, who knows? Because I think, you know, maybe by the next episode, if I do another one of these, which I think I will, you'll probably want to look at something different. You don't want to look at, you know, something I've already you know, drawn or whatever. Well, since I did that, I gotta do this now. That's cool. I like that. Now, some of you might be saying, if this is a fog machine laser gun, where is it getting the drop shadow? I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to ask you to suspend your disbelief. Oh boy, I messed up. You see what I did there? Alright, well, fine. I'll just do that. Gotta do that now. Didn't want to do that. I had a kind of a look that I had in mind. Actually, I didn't have to do all that. I actually have a big thing. I've got all kinds of different white out and gel pens and a big thing of white ink, and could have fixed it. But I'm not taking this super serious. This is more of a learning experience type of thing. So you like that? You see how that kind of pops out? That's pretty neat. And I guess I gotta do this. I forgot that. Don't leave that naked. Put some clothes on it. Nobody wants to see that. Oh man, I gooped that up a little bit. Yeah, whatever. Maybe if I don't talk about it, you won't see it. Okay. Zoom out a little bit. That's pretty cool, right? All right. I think what I'll do is I'll take a break. Well, not take a break, but I guess that'll be it for this video, because we're about 21 minutes in, and I don't want to bore you people. And I really want to hear back from you all what you think about this series. You want me to continue on? You like what I'm trying to do? You get the gist of what I'm trying to do. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. Have any comments, leave them below. I read each and every single one. I promise you I do. It's just that I am notorious for not writing back as often as I should, and I believe I should. That's courtesy, but I'm not really good at it. Anyway, much love to you all. Appreciate you checking out this video. Until next time, in the next episode of Covering Kirby, this is your host, CV Smallwood, and I will see you in the next video.